What's up guys, it's Chris Majestic, and it only took 5 years, but Google finally decided to give us a Chromecast with a remote. So this is the new Google Chromecast, which is officially known as Chromecast with Google TV. So who is this for? Well, this will be great for anyone who either doesn't have a smart TV, like maybe you're using a projector, or if you hate the interface on your TV and want something that's easier to use and more powerful. So priced at $50, could this be a good alternative to the beloved Nvidia Shield or Apple TV? Well, let's find out. So in the box, you get the new Chromecast remote, the Chromecast itself, instruction manual, USB Type-C power cable, the USB adapter, and batteries for the remote. So as you can see, this is clearly the bulkiest Chromecast we've seen so far, but it is still pretty small considering all that it can do. It's available in 3 colors, which are snow, sunrise, and sky. I personally would have just preferred black, but you know Google likes to be different. Okay, so what's the big deal with this thing? Well, up until now, if you wanted a 4K streaming box that was good for HDR and Dolby Vision, you had to spend over $100. So for $50, this could be a steal considering what you're getting. Of course, it has the Google Assistant built in, so it's going to have great voice control. It comes with 8 GB of onboard storage, which can be expanded with a USB Type-C adapter. It supports Dolby Vision, HDR10, HDR10 Plus, and Dolby Atmos. And it has HDMI CEC, wireless AC, and Bluetooth. Now, my favorite streamer has always been the Nvidia Shield, which I'll talk more about in a little bit, but with the cheapest Shield being priced at $150, it's a bit too pricey to recommend for the average person. Then there's the Apple TV, which is also one of the best, but just as expensive as the Shield. And of course, you have the new Roku Ultra, which now has Dolby Vision support, but even that is $100. Now, before we get into the interface, let's talk a little bit about the voice remote. Now, it's not the most comfortable or best looking remote, but it gets the job done. On the top, you'll find a directional pad and select button, and below that, you have the navigation buttons, Google Assistant buttons, since of course the Chromecast has the Google Assistant built in, dedicated buttons for YouTube and Netflix, and on the bottom are the power button, source button for your TV, and the tiny hole is gonna be the microphone. The volume buttons are on the right-hand side, and the top has an IR sensor. My 2 biggest gripes with this remote is that it doesn't have any media control buttons like pause or fast forward, and the buttons aren't backlit. Now, what is cool about the remote is that it can use both HDMI CEC or infrared to control your devices. And setting up the Chromecast was a breeze. The on-screen instructions walk you through everything, and you use the Google Home app to get it set up. Then you scan the QR code on the screen and it'll help you get it added to your Wi-Fi and then lets you customize it to your liking. Once you're done customizing it and adding whatever apps you want, then you're pretty much done. And the Google TV interface is pretty clean and easy to navigate. It's basically Android TV with Google's own overlay. And I think that the interface is really intuitive. The For You section shows TV and movie recommendations from the available apps you have installed, and right below that are your list of installed apps. And one of the best features of Google TV is that when you search for a show or a movie, it shows you the results from multiple apps and lets you play it from whatever app you want. And one of my favorite parts of Google TV, or Android TV for that matter, is that not only do you get access to a ton of apps from the Google Play Store, but even if you want that weird app that's not available, you can still sideload it onto the Chromecast if you're tech savvy. Okay, so what about performance? Well, I gotta say I was really impressed with the performance considering the price. I was able to play most 4K HDR content without a single issue and little to no buffering. Even some of the high bitrate movies that I have on my Plex server played without any hiccups, which really surprised me. Overall, movies and TV look great on this thing, and considering it handles some of the toughest content I could throw at it, I think this would be great for most people. And even though the Chromecast isn't really marketed as a gaming console, I was surprised at how well it worked for games. It even has ALLM to support reduced latency if your TV supports it. Now, it's not nearly as good as the Nvidia Shield, but I was able to sync up my Xbox One X controller to it via Bluetooth and play some 3D games. And even though you might expect it, it doesn't actually officially support the Stadia app yet. But what is cool is that I was able to get it sideloaded, and to my surprise, it worked really well. I was able to play Destiny 2 with pretty much no lag, and the quality was really good. And speaking of sideloading apps, I was able to install the Xbox Game Pass app. Now, I do have to admit that this doesn't work that well at all. I was able to get it installed and start playing a game, but the games would freeze up pretty frequently, and I also had some audio issues. Either way, I am surprised that it could even load the xCloud app, so hopefully this is something that we'll see in the future. And speaking of the NVIDIA Shield, how does it stack up against the Chromecast? Well, to date, the Shield has been my favorite 4K streamer / gaming console, with the only real competition being the Apple TV. So the Shield comes in two variants, which are the Shield TV Tube and the Shield Pro, which are priced at $150 and $200 respectively. And even though they are priced much higher, you're getting better performance and several features that you won't find on the Chromecast. First off, the NVIDIA Shield comes with an NVIDIA Tegra X1 Plus processor. This allows you to play games and of course 4K content without skipping a beat. The Shield also has a micro SD card slot or USB port depending on which one you get. Now you can add ports to the Chromecast using an adapter, but you'd have to spend more money to do that. The Shield also has software features such as AI 4K upscaling, which works really well, and the Shield Pro can even work as a Plex server. And when it comes to remotes, the Shield also has a nicer voice remote since it's backlit, has more navigation buttons, media control buttons, and even a remote finder. Now, as far as the software interface, I'd almost say it's a tie. The Shield is running Android TV, which is better for some things, but some parts of the Google TV interface are a little more intuitive for the average person. So the biggest difference between the Shield and the Chromecast is processing power and the fact that the Shield is technically a gaming console. But again, this does come at a premium since the cheapest Shield still costs $100 more than the new Chromecast. So overall, I'm really impressed with the new Chromecast, and I think it might be the best streamer for the money. Even setting the price aside, I would argue that you're getting pretty much everything you could ever ask for from a 4K streamer. You get voice control, Dolby Vision, HDR10+ and Dolby Atmos support, and you get access to all your favorite streaming apps and get great performance. From now on, when somebody asks me which streamer I'd recommend and they don't want to spend more than $100, my answer is definitely going to be the new Chromecast. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Hopefully you found it helpful. As always, if you did, go ahead and make sure you mash that like button for me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification so you don't miss anything. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.